Tap. This is a Sarasa tapping around my eye. So, as you guys know, what I've been doing is trying to find foundation for my theory that not only is there life on Earth that has been chock full of contributing artifacts of the melanated man and woman, I also go on to proclaim, introduce to the world to the fact that this is not the only planet where our greatness has been splattered about, staggered about, erected about, or just slimed all over and just all type of mucus, existing proof of us all over every aspect of our universe. So I've been using this footage from these people who did the diligent work of putting it together. I thank you for that. Though my stuff is a little controversy to what you say, I wouldn't be able to use this materialism had you not manifested it. So even though you claim that all these beautiful melanated women that we see that's being flying these vessels are aliens, I want to say that they are goddesses that prove themselves as such, as the responsible people that they are with this type of knowledge and technology. We know they have not ever came to Earth and done any of the things that the people who is a part of the narrator of this outside of me group, we know what they're responsible for. Acts of genocide, rape, religious dogma perpetuation, corrupt governments, you name it, they've done it. He goes as far now to even say that these people are daughters of evil. They have nothing to do with God, of course, and that they were evil and that they was at some type of competition with each other, where this beautiful woman right here, who you don't see any blood on her or anything. I mean, everything that will be synonymous with his claim that this is a severed head. I mean, it doesn't look traumatized. It doesn't look in any set of decay. Like the other body he found, the face is just as intact as that one was, with the removal of this spiritual apparatus that you saw connected to the pineal gland and everything. Just like I said before, I believe this area right here is part of the crown disc that will go up and be the serpent power snake that we see on the goddess Sekhmet all the time. That's just what I believe. I can't prove that because we can't see that. They purposely made it where you couldn't see that too, for their own known reasons. The reason is that it's the cover up of the greatness of the melanated man and woman, just like forever we didn't know those pyramids was up there on the moon. But when you see those pyramids up on the moon, and then you see the goddess Sekhmet here, okay, with that there on her head, you can see it. All right, can you see this right here? If you see that little piece right there that's coming right off the top of the lion's head, you can see this bottom piece right here. Now it's not coming right off the top of her head because there will be variations, but you can see how that could go up and become that Uraeus serpent that I'm telling you about. That could be well what that is on her head, as we can see right there on the lioness, the goddess Sekhmet. You see it right there. Okay? So I just thought I'd point that out to you, alright? So I'm just really not trying to be combative or anything like that. But I don't want to let people just savage anyone, especially my goddesses. We're not having that. There's all to it. Because this woman should be revered and given a lot of circumstances of praise. Unlike George Washington, she did not have slaves, unlike King James. If she did, I don't know about it, so I'm not going to assume she did, but I know that they did. So, as we go on and listen to this guy give his description of these people, which he has no foundation on, he just says it because that's the normality when it comes to us melanated people, especially if we're being scrutinized by Caucasian people. You never heard him ever one time say anything good about us, contributing anything great to anything. And now that you can see this beautiful melanated woman with what I believe to be a synonymous attachment to her forehead to signify the connection with the people here on earth that's part of the Nile Valley civilization. Not only with that little proof, there is pyramids on the moon. She is melanated, and she does have braids in her hair. So that signifies a unique connection between pyramids on the moon, pyramids on the earth. We are talking about now instrument of travel, airports that he did mention, but he forgot to mention that those same airports that he wanted to open his mouth and say were there, he never gave credit to this lady that was found with an aircraft at the airport. Any credibility as being the person that might have been a pilot flying between Earth and the moon. I'm just throwing that in there. You know, for some reason, that whole concept just gets completely overlooked. It's like, okay, there's pyramids on the moon and there's pyramids on Earth, and here this black lady is with this Uraeus serpent snake in her head with braids, and everything synonymous with the same people of Egypt. I'm wondering if those pyramids were actually airports, and did they actually fly these vessels from point A, from the moon to the earth? And if they did, they probably used these ships to move those big ass stones. Don't think this concept has not crossed their mind, but they want to be all white about the shit and don't tell the whole world the truth about the greatness of us melanated men and women who I claim we are gods and goddesses. You don't have to believe that. You don't have to believe it for it to be true. But let's hear what he got to say.
What you're seeing here is her co-pilot, and the co-pilot's head was severed. And so what you're looking at here is the severed head that they found. And it was right next to her. This co-pilot didn't have the implements attached to her. And where she was found, actually, she was found a few, from my understanding, about 15 to 16 inches away from the pilot. And her head was found about 16 inches away, with her other body parts being found in pieces. One thing you gotta understand, the astronauts' impression of it, when they came onto the site of it, the Apollo 20 crew, was that they felt that a violent incident took place at this time because the body parts were in pieces, which hence that they were hacking at each other toward the end of it. The pilot seems to have been preserved.
That's the strangest faced hack victim I've ever saw. Because see, I'm going to tell you what I see, because when you say someone was hacking at someone and that the bodies were mutilated and all chopped up, the fact that this beautiful face did not even get a scratch on it makes that a very unlikely story. Because see, when you are hacking and mutilating people, that's a form of hatred. Okay, this is severe hatred when you take time out to keep hacking someone after they're dead. So the fact that this is supposed to be a victim that had her head severed and there is no lacerations on the face at all, and I mean the hair is just intact, like her ass just left the damn beauty salon 4 blocks over. See, I'm always skeptical of these European men when they have to give a description of non-European people that has achieved greatness, because they would do everything they can to tarnish the people and make them look like they were savages, just like they come here to the Americas and murder all the inhabitants of this land. And all these structures left here going into ruin and dilapidation there was well-kept, manicured structure at the arrival of them. But since they murdered all the keepers of these places go to a state of dilapidation and give them the purpose opportunity to say they were like that when they found them, and cover up the idea of the horrible, atrocious crimes that was committed to the people upon their arrival. And so my point being is that the savaging of this woman right here and claiming that for some reason her head was cut off, and you're not seeing any indication or any proof of that, and the fact that they for some reason did not show a full picture of her face, why did they deliberately, when they had the opportunity to take a full exposed picture, why did they only take this much and not show the rest of her face, is what I'm trying to figure out. And why did they deliberately not show you the full spectrum of whatever this is right here? Okay, there will be some interesting stuff to know, because had this been a white female, I guarantee you they would have let you know her significance of having this attached to her forehead, because that's not just there for the hell of it. It has to go for some symbolic reason, some significance. There would be some interesting conversation piece had the right heart been involved with the deliverance of this priceless find right here. The fact of this woman being a melanated female flying a ship makes already top secret shit and shit being hid. Like for instance, let's go with it, okay? So you guys won't be left in the dark. First of all, this woman was not on that big ass ship with just two other women, okay? Let's get to that. That ship is big enough to be a mothership, which means there was other bodies on there. That's exactly what it means. The problem is that it might have been a ship full of other bodies that fit this, which means it would have to be exposed to the earth that yes, there is melanated people, a whole civilization of them. We found a spaceship on the moon full with almost 1 million black people, and the spaceship was big as New York. It's that huge, just a ship, which means these are truly gods and goddesses of this planet whom we have enslaved, but we still keep them getting our money, so we just keep that a secret from them. And it's like, no you won't, because the universe is waking us up to our greatness. Even if they do try to pull off this deceptiveness, you're going to hear all type of talk like, this is some Hollywood, shit to be debunked, some YouTube stuff to just make people tune in. Well, let me explain something to you. No one is going to go out of their way to create a host like this and give the ID to the civilization that they find on the moon to be melanated people, and then include the braids plus all the symbolic attachment of the spiritualism of self-awareness, Kundalini, serpent power, energy marks and everything. All this anonymous stuff will be to having the same type of reaction with the sunlight and seeing the triangle ships in my camera. And then I read the footage on this. They said not only did they find that ship, they found another ship that was triangle shaped. You should go read this stuff. I read it. It said they found another ship with the ship they found the lady on. It was triangle shaped. And there's also ruins of cities up there, so they tell us. But, they don't tell you everything, and you can't go to the moon, so it could be a whole thriving, living civilization of people up there on that planet. And because we don't know, because we haven't been there. So it could be a whole race up there that's thriving and living of these beautiful women right here that has knowledge of themselves, that won't smoke no cigarettes and all that crazy stuff like the women down here being put to sleep and enticed to be doing. So that'll be another reason they would not want you to believe that this is a true goddess, because they want to try to savage everything that has anything to do with non-white human, and I do mean man, M-E-N. Remember, I don't say this to be mean. I say it because I can prove to you what I'm saying. Well, what is you saying? I am saying that a lot of the Caucasian men overlook their women, and they will rise to power and wealth without including her. That's exactly what I'm saying. and other people as well. I'm talking about the most selfish ass person you could ever imagine on earth. So let's finish listening to his description of the Lucifer goddess and see if he does her any justice.
For two reasons. She may have been the captain, and having privileged knowledge, she may have tried to get away while this was happening, and but basically wasn't able to escape. The meteorites that blew open onto the moon caused a freezing on the moon that basically if anybody who didn't get taken out by the blast was going to get taken out by the freezing effect. She seemed to have survived the blasting effect, but got caught in the freezing effect, which happened pretty much simultaneously right after the blast. And that's as far as it's known. And what will eerily shock you is that a lot of old world technology that's found all have traces of a violent disturbance that had taken place on it, from having laser holes blasted into them, from bodies being found in pieces, and being found in suspicious ways, showing that they were in a state of panic and violence at the time that the flood effects were taking place. And
okay, did y'all see that? Because I did. I saw that move a little bit. So I'm going to go see if her head is really severed. Because if it is, they should have showed us that. Okay, because I want to know. There we go. Look at that. That's the best picture that they give you. And you know what? It looks just like the other lady. It really does. You know, I'm telling you, these women are from the same family.
was basically to show you the aftershock of when they had it all removed. They had a female doctor who was with them as an astronaut, and she was the one who removed the tubings off her face. And key things to note is that when they removed the tubes off her face, they said that this ooze, this type of eerie ooze, was oozing out of her eyes and out of her nose. They believe that that might have been part of the cartilage of her brain and the flesh of her eye. That you know, at the time when she died of the freezing effect, it affected the circuits, and that would have fried the inside of her organs in her brain and her optical eyeball. And so that was the oozing stuff that came out. That's why they don't open up her eye, because there's nothing in there basically. But we get a very good look at what she looked like, and we can see she was a very beautiful woman when she was alive. She has very voluptuous lips and all that stuff. She's gorgeous.
He's gonna just fail to mention the fact that she looks like the African people on Earth. Watch. Let's see if he ever says that. And this is what's really disturbing, and this is what I really want to use to show you evidence of how everything great about us will be completely pushed under the rug and never given as an example to the world of the great people that we are. He's going to say everything about how beautiful she is and this and that and woo woo woo, but never mention the fact that she could be Oprah. Sister.
A friend of mine kidded me and said that it looked like Angelina Jolie.
Okay, well see, that's what I mean.
But I disagree with that. She looks better than Angelina Jolie.
What fine?
But what we're looking at here is the natural mark that's upon her head. It said that the daughters of Cain,
So I
or
apologize,
Canaanites,
but it took
or
his
people
ass
who
long
descended from him, had deformities or specific marks that registered them as being Canaanites. And so this is what we're looking at up here. You'll notice that it's a cross formation, actually. You can see here and here, and so there would have been one here and down here, and there's a serpent form right here. And it is believed that this is the old world mark of the beast, and at that for taking place.
See, I knew he was going to go there and say something crazy like that, but he did mention the fact that there was a serpent mark right there, which lets you know, as I said, that ties into the serpent part of Kundalini energy. So even though he do have to eventually say something that's synonymous with my claim that this is now body stuff, the most he came out and said was she looked like Angelina Jolie. Okay, so he said a name. If somebody don't know who Angelina Jolie is, they won't know that synonymous attachment to that name will be the melanated skin. So that still wasn't a true justice call, okay? Here's another thing too that I want to share, the fact that we went over the possibility that they met that demise through acts of violence, and then we went through all type of natural causes of nature that could have been the cause of their death, which means that he doesn't know, because either it was meteorites or was it acts of violence or what. So we won't assume that it was acts of violence, because he contradicts himself. So I don't want everybody to be so quick to believe that these people died from acts of barbarism, because that might not be the case. And until we know, we shouldn't assume. And the reason why is because I'm just tired of the constant abuse all the time, where you see beautiful brown skin involved with amazing feats of accomplishment. Somebody got to throw some type of savagery in there. It just disturbs the hell out of me. It does. And then when you look at America and see all the great things that's been accomplished here, and you look at the 500 years of oppression and slavery, and the fact that this land was stolen away from us, you never see anything mentioned about that, or the credit of any other contributions of our forced labor, or the fact that it was all forced on us, on our land, never gets included. So if you seem to pick up the vibration that I'm a tad bit scratchy or irritated, or if I feel like I may come off like I feel like somebody has been very rude and has taken advantage of me, I don't really feel that way. You might just be mistaken. Or maybe you know something about me that I should know but don't know. Or maybe you just feel from your own observation of things that that could be my case. Either one of them can apply. You pick whichever one you want.
And so much of that is, you got to really wrap your head around that these people were living in a very violent society. This is an aftershot of when...
How can he say that? That's my point. How can he say that? See, when they came to America, the people that was here was claimed to be headhunters. They was cutting off people's heads, and they never gave them credit for building structures around here. Never gave them credit for being able to map our stars, or knowing the movement of the solar way, or any of that. The only thing you can know about them through history is that, okay, they built a calendar, and they was headhunters. You know, I could tell you way more than that. No, these guys were more than that. They actually travel through space. They have time machines. They live here on Earth right now. I could go tell you a whole bunch of stuff, but you'll never know about it, because we got people who will bring you this and give you their story about how violent these people are. They found that big ass ship with only 2 people in it. When push come to shove, they up there raiding and looting that damn thing right now, because you know gold is synonymous with these people. So they found tons and tons and billions and trillions of dollars worth of gold in there, and other people and every damn thing that they asses can't wait to keep going back and forth to keep looting. But none of that gets mentioned.
They removed all the tubes off her face. Right now, they basically got her on Apollo 20. And so this shot right here was basically to show you the after